Our final proclamation is in recognition of the lifetime of service of Mr. Reginald Felton, who was, as the former president of the Board of Education, a trailblazer in his own right. I had the opportunity to get to know Reggie when we worked collaboratively on the development of the Excel Beyond the Bell program here in Montgomery County. And I was always struck by his ability to be able to provide both the macro and micro information that was necessary for that and so many other programs and services and policies to move forward in Montgomery County. Reggie took the time to mentor many of us, and I am going to now yield to two of my colleagues who would like to say a few words, and then to another colleague who is joining us virtually. But I begin with the chair of our Education and Culture Committee, Councilmember Craig Rice.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. And it's one in which, when you have such a storied career as Reginald Felton did, it's hard to pick out some things to highlight. But I did just want to say that a lot of people don't know that not only was there his service to education, but also to our country. He was the senior executive with the U.S. Department of the Navy and also served as a commissioned officer in our U.S. Coast Guard, and then took his service to our community to make sure that children would be, as he was, fortunate enough to realize the great opportunities that can befall you when you have a high-quality education. And he took that all the way from Montgomery County Public Schools up to the Montgomery College Board of Trustees, as well as working with the George B. Thomas Learning Academy to continue to make sure that those students that were at risk had the tools necessary to help support them to get them back on track and ensure that they were successful. So many times we wait until a person is gone before we tell them how important they have been. And so I encourage folks to make sure that they thank people for their service while they're here. Certainly I know that we've done a lot when it comes to Mr. Felton, but as a person who devoted his life to public education and to service, we owe him a debt of gratitude, not just here in Montgomery County, but across the nation. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've shared some personal anecdotes about Reggie, as we called him, Felton, at a previous session, but since we are honoring him appropriately with this proclamation, just want to add on again. I mean, I think it's really telling that someone, instead of a gift or flowers, it was his wish that people donate to Saturday school, that people donate to helping children learn as a legacy and memorial of him passing. His funeral was at the end of June, and his wife, Diane, of 52 years, is still grieving, and we send her our thoughts and our prayers. His mother, Gladys, his son, Brandon, and his daughter-in-law, Bree, as well as many grandchildren. I think about him a lot at this time of year because we often would vacation at the same beach area, and he was kind of a surrogate granddad to my kids. And gone too soon, but leaves a deep and abiding legacy that Montgomery County residents and residents from the entire region are going to benefit from for a long time. So rest in peace, and thank you, Mr. President, for honoring him in this way.
Absolutely. And now we turn it over to the Honorable Herman Taylor, who was also mentored by Reggie and considered him a close friend as well. Delegate Taylor. Mm-hmm. I think you're on mute.
I apologize about that. Good afternoon, President Albornoz and all the distinguished members of the County Council. Thank you for having me here and honoring this request. It's really good to see all of you all. On behalf of Reggie's family, in particular his wife Diane and his son Brandon, we sincerely thank you for pausing in your work today to honor his life and his legacy of such an incredible friend and leader, especially during this time where I know you're about to go on recess. The past 2 months have been a lot, dealing and seeing my mentor go to glory. And I want to share just a few sentiments of why his life was important to me. But I also, again, want to thank you, Mr. President Albornoz, and your staff member, Lillian Cruz, for the grace over the past couple of months to work with us on some type of tribute. And also my other dear friend, Selena Singletary. I wanted to make sure I recognized the grace and liberties they extended during this time. Reggie meant so much to me because he took such an interest in my life and further in my development as a young man. When I met him during the mid 90s, I looked up to him. I admired him. He embraced me right when we first met, just about. And from then on, he would refer to me affectionately as his little brother. As a young man, I really needed that. He was someone that just made you feel very special when you were around him. And his life, as was mentioned, his life and his life's work and his legacy to this community was centered around education. Again, as was mentioned, even from his military service to the National School Boards Association, his service there, and again, to our local school board here in Montgomery County, all the way to Montgomery College, this whole region, even University District of Columbia, UDC, he served on their board. So education was the mainstay of his life. And it tells you something about the man, that he did not come here to be something. He came here to do something. He wasn't driven by ambition, but having an impact on this community that he truly did. And right now, I just want, to know that I know that he had a full life. His life was full of such value and meaning and purpose and service. And my wish is that his legacy lives on, to a testament for the next generation to notice his work and what this man was about, because he was truly one of the unsung heroes of our county and should be counted among the greats. And I know that history will remember him, because history remembers those who do great works and not those who just look out for themselves. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for honoring my friend, my mentor, Reggie Felton.
Thank you so much, Delegate Taylor. I will now read the proclamation into the record. Whereas Mr. Reginald Reggie Felton devoted his life to public education, having served on the Montgomery County Board of Education from 1994 through 2004, and as its first African American to become elected as board president and re-elected to serve 2 terms, along with serving as the board's vice president for 2 terms. And whereas Mr. Felton served on the Montgomery College Board of Trustees from 2007 through 2015, where he promoted partnerships and support for students with a keen focus on early education, along with adult and senior citizen education, and instilled the importance of learning in each stage of life. And whereas Mr. Felton was very active with the Montgomery County branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, where he served as chairman of the Freedom Fund Dinner, vice president of programs, and was a member of its board of directors, and advocated for racial and social equity across educational and government entities. And whereas Mr. Felton was a civic activist who transformed communities. Because of his vision, he was appointed by former County Executive Doug Duncan to serve as the first chairman of the Silver Spring Center Citizens Advisory Board, representing and advocating for underrepresented communities. And whereas Mr. Felton continued to serve the community as treasurer of the Rudolph Snowden Memorial Scholarship Fund and vice president and board member of the George B. Thomas Learning Academy, Incorporated, the longest and continually operating community-based tutorial program in Montgomery County. And whereas Mr. Felton's passion for learning has placed many students and their families on a path toward success. His tireless efforts have provided educational opportunities for all students, and his legacy of educational excellence will continue to impact future generations. Now, therefore, be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby recognizes the lifetime service of Reginald Felton. And be it further resolved that we recognize his unwavering commitment to high-quality public education for all students, and through their academic preparation, his work has ensured that our students are equipped to thrive in every aspect of their lives. Presented on this 26th day of July in the year 2022 by myself on behalf of all of my colleagues. Mr. Felton, wherever you are, and to his family, thank you for your service, sir.